morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be here in Malacanang Palace with our beloved President of the Philippines, Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Good morning, Mr. President. I am Ms. Nove Guzman San Juan, a student from Northeastern Mindanao State University. I am here today to give a speech regarding the social issues in the Philippines, and one of it is poverty. I want to convince and address it to our beloved President about the inequality and poverty in the Philippines. After the economic boom, the Philippines was one of the poorest countries in the world. According to the 2015 poverty report, 26.3% of the Filipino population lives in poverty. Reported by the Philippine National Statistical Office, based on the minimum income required for food, it was also found that 12.1 million people, or 12.1%, were living in extreme poverty. This is a slight improvement from 27.9% in 2012. This is a general statistic, but poverty is rampant in the Philippines. Metro Manila, for example, is home to the majority of the city's poor, but has the lowest percentage of the poor. The reason for this disparity is that the standards of nutrition and poverty vary from region to region. Statistics show it's better here than anywhere else. But Manila is still the slum center of the Philippines. On the other hand, Palawan is one of the 10 poorest provinces in the Philippines. They do not have access to simple housing and medical facilities. Because of this, about 60% of the Filipino population die without seeing a doctor. The key to addressing high levels of poverty in the Philippines is strengthening government, health, and education policies, and better management for natural resources. The biggest reason for the political division is the huge gap between the rich and the poor that emerged after the economic boom in the Philippines ended. Growth has benefited the elite and the poor are a worse situation than they started out with. The Philippine government has launched a social security program to combat poverty. This program is designed to be a conditional cash transfer program where the poorest families meet the requirement for free government immunizations for their children and receive cash assistance when they enroll their children in school. Funding for these programs, universal health care and basic education, is the result of aggressive revenue collection, improved government spending, and efforts to remove restrictions affecting low-income communities. Even though government have done this, but in some provinces still isn't enough. Still, the project has not been developed there, especially in some urban and rural areas. Addressing extreme poverty in the Philippines begins with government policies that promote growth and access to the poorest regions. And now, Mr. President, as one of the youth ambassador, I am begging you to please hear the voice of youth. You are the hope of our nation, and also we are. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I hope and pray that the voice of youth will be heard. God bless.